So when you translated the terminology Gadianton robber, you found that it meant spear thrower owl. And are you thinking this right here is the iconography of Gadianton?
Of the Gadianton robbers from that time period, for sure.
This actually occurred the year before the final battle.
Can't keep quiet when you start a riot.
That's a known ruler from the time period that the Book of Mormon's talking about.
This is basically spear thrower owl's tribe.
This is wild. Got our scripture notes up and running. All of the scriptural references used in this episode will be brought to you by scripturenotes.com. For a free trial to Scripture Notes, please visit the link in the description. All right, dudes, what's going on? You refuse to tell me what we're talking about. You just said spectacular new discovery in the title of this video, and it's a surprise. I don't like surprises. What's going on, man? What's going on, dude?
Well, this is something, a new research discovery that I made, and I've only told Josh about it. So you'd be the third person in the entire
In the
world.
know.
Is this Award Radio exclusive?
Yes.
Is this Award Radio exclusive?
Exactly. I've never published it. It's nothing. Not out there anywhere.
Okay, I'm writing that down. That's what is it though? Are you gonna like do something crazy? Like, I don't know what's going on, man.
No, it doesn't involve hazing you or anything
Lots
like
of
that.
editing. Lots of editing.
Okay, awesome. All right, what's going on, man?
And you will become a convert to the Mesoamerican geographic model.
Oh, so you're evangelizing
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Central American model.
This is a baptism of fire.
Okay, awesome. Well, hit me, convert me, my friend.
Okay.
By the way, I'm independent, but you know what I'm saying? Let's assume. Let's
it's not
assume
the end of the
opposite,
episode
You know
yet.
what I'm saying? Okay, cool, awesome. Keep going.
So if you want to turn the whole podcast over to me and trust me.
Okay, I do, my friend. So go for it. What's going on? Hit us.
All right. The screen up. I've got there you go. So new spectacular Book of Mormon reveal here on Ward Radio.
Okay.
We even got the balloons are flying over Teotihuacan in celebration of this. So.
For sure.
All right, rock on. I'm digging. Okay.
Okay. Now this involves the characters document,
Shockingly.
which I wrote a book on.
Yep.
This is the book.
Okay.
I'm giving the reference here to my website only because there's a couple things I will discuss that it's probably easier to go to the book and evaluate.
Okay.
So, when I translated the characters document, if you want to pop up the screen there.
Yeah, I gotcha.
There is a couple glyphs here that meant the Gadianton was referring to the Gadiantons, right?
Can we
Okay.
jump in, Jerry, real quick on when it comes to your research on the characters document? I think some people have this misnomer of it's supposed to being a translation from actual text that's within the Book of Mormon, but you're saying that it's a text that probably was from part of the lost 116 pages. So I think sometimes people don't even step into the research because they're like, well, wait a second, his translation, it's not lining up with something I know from a verse or a chapter.
Yeah.
And I just this is way over the top at 1,000 feet, but for people to dig into the episode and be open to it, you're saying that most likely the characters document's actually pulling off a date and some information from some of the
Well, there's actually two parts. The upper lines in the characters document are a different text than the bottom lines.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the top ones I do think looks like to be at least part of the preface to the Book of Mosiah, which we would be missing. So that would have been part of the 116 pages.
right.
The bottom lines are basically a summary of the prophetic calendar in the Book of Mormon. So it's not clear. There's a possibility they could have been, and they have a final date of 384. So it was post. That part was written post battle, final battle. So
Interesting.
So there's a couple possibilities. It could be maybe like part of a preface that Moroni added to the full Book of Mormon, or it's also possible that there was additional material written on the small plates, probably by Moroni. So it'd be like it's obviously it's possible Mormon could have written those, but it seems more likely Moroni did. So
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, what's my surprise, dog?
Okay, well,
what's going on, man? What's going on?
Okay, well, and so this is from the bottom lines on the. Kind of show you exactly where on the. So you can't see my cursor, can you? But it's on the very. Those glyphs are on the second to the last line from the right. A few glyphs over, you have the.
Yeah, I see it. Okay.
And then just below that, there's another one on the very bottom line, little mountainly looking little thing. So those are the characters that were translated, and I found in the Demotic, the meaning that the Hebrew meaning of Gadianton, which is wealth, riches, fortune, can also mean robbers. But the curious thing was it also had this little cross next to it, which means ite or tribe.
Okay.
And that usually designates a king of sorts. But the most of the Mesoamerican people have associated the Gadiantons with Teotihuacanos, the Teotihuacan.
Interesting. Okay.
So, but kind of the understanding is that for the most part, up to a certain point, Teotihuacan was kind of governed by a council or something. So I thought this was kind of curious. And as I rethought it, I thought, well, there was a few things I noticed in hieratic that had similar glyph forms when I was doing the research, trying to figure out, when I look at a glyph, I'd say, okay, this glyph, what is that glyph meaning?
Yeah.
So here you notice that the original, in the hieratic, you have a glyph form similar to that first one that actually means owl.
Oh, okay. That's cool, man. I'm digging. Okay.
Okay. And then in Egypt, the owl was associated with death and mourning, and also the goddess Neith, who was called it was basically the terrifying one, the goddess of war. It's also associated with the goddess Ammit, the devourer of the dead.
Yeah, rock on. This is cool.
Yeah, so
I'm digging the podcast already.
Made up of consisting of a crocodile, a hippopotamus, and lion, which are the primary man-eaters.
It's my favorite combination. Yeah, it's my favorite combination.
Okay. Then the other, there was also a glyph, the second one, kind of that one on the bottom there you can see.
Yeah.
Represented the hindquarters of a lion. It's called, the code is F22 for that particular hieroglyph. And then it has a number assigned to it in hieratic, which is the word, I really can't pronounce Egyptian very well, but fly, and it means to spear in Egyptian.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is go on Google.
Okay, I'm going on Google, my man.
And search spear, owl, and Teotihuacan.
Dude, how do you spell Teotihuacan? Okay.
Turn that over to
just
Josh.
how it sounds.
Josh is our parliamentarian here.
Okay, look, it auto-searched. Okay, so now I'm just going to show results for, in Browser Plus Media. Here you've got spear, owl, and Teotihuacan. Okay, so the spear thrower owl.
Click on that.
Okay.
Bingo.
Who is that?
The spear thrower owl was a ruler. Okay. Spear thrower owl was a Mesoamerican person from the early classic period who was identified in Mayan inscriptions and iconography. Mayanist David Stewart has suggested that spear thrower owl was a ruler of Teotihuacan at the start of the height of its influence across Mesoamerica in the 4th and 5th century. Okay. And that he was responsible for an intense period of Teotihuacan presence in the Mayan area, including the conquest of Tikal in 378 CE. What else do I need to read, bro? What else do I need to read?
That gives you the basic background.
And so what you have there is you've got, in the characters document, you actually have doubling there. It's the spear thrower owl tribe, really. So
So wait. So if I'm connecting all the dots, you're saying in the characters document, you have been able to translate that the Gadianton robbers were literally translated to mean the spear thrower owls, or the tribe of the spear thrower owl. And you've also been able to link the spear thrower owl to a specific king of Teotihuacan that also led the conquest of Tikal, and you think they're the same thing?
Yep. And Josh can maybe
4th century AD.
Well, so Teotihuacan was dominating the landscape in 300s, 400s AD. There's artifacts that have been found as far in Guatemala as Caminalhuyu in the Guatemalan highlands, and even influence that goes up the Pacific coast. There's a specific pottery style that's real thin. They have 3 different legs. You start seeing that an orange color slip that starts happening all across the landscape. And then you see even in Tikal, it was clearly conquered by Teotihuacanos at that time period, and Spear Thrower Owl becomes basically a king that is ruling over.
Bro, this is going to be a new hat. Are you saying that we got the BYU Cougars right here? We got the War in Heaven veteran right here. Are you saying we need the Spear Thrower Owl hat? Because that's Gadianton. Are you thinking this right here is the iconography of Gadianton?
Of the Gadianton robbers from that time period, for sure.
Right.
There is somebody who is literally going to a tattoo parlor in Holiday, Utah right now.
Well, wait a second. Let me show you mine.
Wow. Holy smoke.
So
what are you
pull
doing
up
there,
like
Jerry? What are you doing there, Jerry?
Tikal. So he conquers Tikal.
This is the Spear Thrower Owl hat that we'll be marketing. along with the BYU Cougar hat.
Yeah, with the Coug shirt and the Utes hat.
Funny. Okay, cool. I'm digging.
So even his death date is known archaeologically. Like on Tikal Stela 31, there's a death date for Spear Thrower Owl. So it's just interesting that it is, this is a well-known leader from the region that is pinning. So the Gadianton robbers are in the land northward. The Nephites are in the land northward, trying to escape the Lamanites in the land southward, and they're getting quenched. And Teotihuacan creates creative allegiances kind of throughout the landscape in the land southward, pinning the Nephites right in the middle where they're getting wiped out. That's exactly what we find happening archaeologically at the time period. And Jerry has traced the name of one of the known leaders from what's already linked archaeologically to the Gadianton robbers from the time period through the characters document. It's really astounding. It really is.
And here's the further link is, and this is something I have in my most recent book, is you have in one of the epistles that I put in, that Mormon wrote in the Book of Mormon.
Okay.
It refers to the king who they were battling. His name's Aaron, right? Well, Aaron can mean in Hebrew, one designation is conceived or born in fire. There's a king, a Maya king, also named born of fire. And the critical thing is he was in the depictions in Tikal, it refers to him as taking the son of Spear Thrower Owl. He went and knocked off the Tikal king and installed the son of Spear Thrower Owl over Tikal. So you actually show the Lamanite Gadianton correlation, and meaning that because it talks about them battling the Gadiantons and then the Lamanites. So you actually have 2 political entities down there, just like the Book of Mormon says. And so it matches. So now you have Spear Thrower Owl. You also have King Aaron, born of fire, who is the Maya connection, and the child that is installed. They've actually analyzed his bones, and it looks like his mother was Maya. He was raised in Tikal area, so the mother was Mayan. The father was Teotihuacan, the Spear Thrower Owl. So you actually have some intermarriage going on a level with the Gadiantons, and so there's a lot of political intrigue going on at that time, just like the Book of Mormon says.
Wow. So wait, you're okay. In one sentence, tell me in one sentence what this claim is that you're making. Are you saying we believe we found the icon of the Gadianton robbers and it's the Mayan Spear Thrower Owl?
Well, it's when at least in the Reformed Egyptian, that they are identifying, they're using that glyph. It actually has different meanings. So one meaning is wealth and, kind of riches, which that's what the Book of Mormon talks about. The Gadiantons, all they cared about, right?
Yeah. To get gain. Yes.
Yeah. And that's exactly what what the Teotihuacanos did. They would go and kind of knock off power. They were interested in trade networks, and
they were significantly feared as a group of people, and they were famous for their warriors. Their warriors would wear a particular headdress that was feathered and would just like, it was a super intimidating style as they were going out and kind of, obviously we don't have enough written script for us
they're doing the
tell the
Apocalypto
story
thing.
from the Teotihuacano
Isn't
perspective.
Teotihuacan? Well, isn't Apocalypto based off of the city of Teotihuacan?
Not off of Teotihuacan, no. It's more Mayan.
Okay.
Yeah, but
yeah, and so that was more than one sentence, but
yeah.
but yeah. So essentially, we found in the Reformed Egyptian, in the characters document, where it's referring to the Gadianton tribe, that glyph form there actually, just like the Nephite was a Nephi and this Ite glyph. So Nephite, this is basically spear thrower owl's tribe. The king. So we're identified, and we have him identified in Book of Mormon. I mean, it's in the characters document. We have Aaron identified basically with the same name, meaning of his under king, who was kind of doing his bidding, even though he was a Maya king. And then with that, we have a specific tie to a date, which is 378. BC.
When Tikal falls.
Yeah, when Tikal falls or is taken over. And it's not clear that it was some big battle. It seems like they just knocked off the, kind of like Gadiantons do. They go and kill the people and murder the people on the, and take their place. And so in the chronology book that I did, this actually occurred the year before the final battle. So what you have is spear thrower owl consolidating with Aaron, entire area or groups, city-states of the Maya. And so when they came to fight Mormon, I mean, I do think Mormon thought he had a shot, meaning they kind of knew they were doomed, but they gathered for this battle, and then just all these Lamanites, so many showed up and just overran them. It wasn't because they were having more kids. It's because the Gadianton, spear thrower owl.
Allegiances that were going on.
Yeah, so say he'd taken over all these Maya Lamanite city-states, and so they were alliances that caused this huge army to be able to be brought against the Nephites.
So you don't think it was just, moral degeneracy that led to the big horde that was able to ultimately destroy the Nephite civilization? You think it might have been the Gadianton Romans making just political alliances with those around them and then just destroying them that way, and that's the end of the story?
Yeah, both the Lamanites had, it's showing basically you have a Lamanite king who's in cahoots clearly with spear thrower owl, and so just like the Book of Mormon said, so you had the Gadiantons and the Lamanites, and yes, they were able to consolidate power and come against the Nephites in mass. And so whether it's, archaeology, I mean, you're not looking at morality when you look at archaeology, really. That's how it's interpreted. For them, it's like, oh, they're just getting power. We're going to take over the trade routes. The Nephites, pesky
search
Nephites.
of resources, Yeah,
exactly. So yes, you could say that the Nephites were wicked and that's why they were wiped out. But the motivation, even though the Lamanites obviously did not like the Nephites after battling for, kind of a historic enemy for all these years, is there clearly was a motivation beyond just, oh, let's go destroy all the Nephites. It was because they wanted either resources, trade routes, power, that kind of thing. Normally you don't go wipe out a whole people. You don't normally just take them over because you want their resources and to tax them and all that.
And even in the Book of Mormon story, not all the Nephites are wiped out. Those that are finding allegiance with the Lamanites are probably paying their taxes and their dues, and they're assimilating into that culture core.
Yeah.
That's being told to us by Mormon in the text.
And it says when they deny Christ, well, it's because in the characters document, the Nephite tribe uses the glyph of Christ's tribe. So it was the political alliance has this religious overtone. And so, of course, Mormon's writing it from a religious standpoint, saying this is just part of what happens when people are wicked. Then they can be destroyed by other wicked. God doesn't protect them anymore. And so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the age-old question. even biblical, is God allowing or helping the enemies of his people to be destroyed? It's like, no, but evil will just operate and wipe you out. If you're wicked, you don't get any specific protection. So
okay, so if I understand you correctly, basically this right here is the face of the Gadianton robbers. Right there.
Perfect.
Behold in all of its glory. Well, at least according to Midjourney. Yeah. This is the face of fear, spear thrower owl. Now, I should have said in Mesoamerica because it looks like there's a Empire State Building behind it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to have nightmares tonight.
Yeah, you got it.
That's the return of the Gadiantons in 2040.
So I want to make sure. I'm sorry. I'm a knuckle-dragging troglodyte simpleton. I am beyond Lenny from Of Mice of Men. Okay,
okay, so we don't want you as an acolyte of the Mesoamerican model.
Yeah, okay, exactly. I might actually, I kill people as I'm hugging them, But you're saying when you translated the characters document, when you came across the terminologies and the icons of the Gadianton robbers, you found that it basically meant, the glyphs meant the tribe of getting riches.
Yeah, because in Hebrew, that's what Gadianton can mean. It can mean robbers and wealth. And so that's because I was looking for Hebrew meaning and found the Egyptian glyph that meant that.
Okay,
but that's in Demotic. But I also had in my notes, I had noted, well, there's actually this owl and spear, but I had not made the connection. Because it was like, well, that's not a meaning that I know of Gadianton in Hebrew. See, I was always trying to look for the name had a meaning and try to find the meaning in Egyptian.
But in the archaeological record, there was a clear meaning.
Yeah.
Shouting, because that's a known ruler from the time period that the Book of Mormon's talking about.
Yeah, and so what happened is a couple of weeks ago, I was just rereading, this kind of David Stewart stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I do think, I just had this recollection that I had found something like, and then checked my notes and found it. And it's like, yeah, that meant it was owl and spear. Both can mean both that glyph. If you flip the glyph, it means.
So when you translated the terminology Gadianton robber, you found that it meant spear thrower owl, which actually coincides with the very specific icon that is used by a very specific leader of the Mayan civilization who was called Spear Thrower Owl, who is the head of Teotihuacan, took over Tikal, and you think is responsible for the wipeout of the Nephite civilization sometime around 378 AD?
379, yeah. The final battle I have in 379. According to the chronology, right? That's something I developed independent.
This is wild, man.
This is somebody
wild.
that we even know specifically his reign. Like, we know he starts his reign in 374 AD, and we know he finally dies in 439 AD. Like, we even know his kingdom that he's ruling over, how long he's reigning for. So we have a lot of details about this person.
So what else do we know about this guy?
Well, if you think about it, we know where he's from.
He's like the Napoleon of the Mayans.
We know the length of his rule. We know cities that he conquered and created allegiances and alliances with.
Are there any stelae that say we hate Lamanites here, or we hate Nephites here, or what?
There's a stela even denoting his death, and it has his death date, and that's even a stela that was made 50 years after he died. But they're getting specific on, this is when this ruler died. Like, he was an impactful ruler in the region.
The spear thrower owl glyph, in Teotihuacan, is used beyond that, representing military power, and so he's like a big shot, I guess, if you want to call it.
He's like the JFK, the Ronald Reagan of Teotihuacan, right?
Well, yeah, and so it lasted well beyond his death, that he was still, it was kind of like his emblem, the spear thrower owl emblem became the emblem used by the warriors, they'd put on their headdresses and stuff, so it was I think he was viewed as a great military leader.
So he's not the original Gadianton?
No.
Because the Gadianton robbers kind of they existed, then they went away, and then they came back. But you think this is the head of the Gadianton robbers that wiped out the Nephites in the final battle that Mormon oversees from the cool Freebird painting.
Yeah, and so what Moroni has done is he's taken that glyph that meant riches or whatever, and he's flipped it on its side and over. If you notice when I showed you the first,
Yeah.
if you go back, let's see, I'll go back here.
Uh-huh.
This first one here at the bottom, you can see you're kind of covering one of it, but
Okay, here we go.
yeah. So that's what I had originally translated. That's the Demotic for wealth, riches, and fortune. Okay. And it's, if you look at the characters document, well, it's flipped a little bit to the side, right?
Okay, yeah.
And what I'm saying is, when Moroni wrote this, he knew who the king of, he kind of wrote it as, yes, it's Gadianton. Not only Gadianton, here's the leader of the Gadiantons
Wow.
tribe. So it's kind of interesting.
So what are we going to do now? We got to go down there. We got to go to Teotihuacan. Get some of your archaeology buddies to let us in.
The hot air balloon is waiting for us, and it's going to be an exciting ride.
What's the advantage of a hot air balloon?
Well, my brother did it. He flew over, and you can like video the whole, Teotihuacan as you're flying in the balloon.
I love Mexicans. Mexicans allow tourism that they just would never allow in the United States of America. I love South America. You can hang your head out of the trains there. You can speed on the freeway as long as you got $20 for the cop that pulls you over. Like, it is the funnest place. I love it. Like, just God bless Mexico. And we're going down there, and I'm going to friggin' hot air balloon Teotihuacan.
That's what I'm talking about.
In the name of religion. Like, it's going to be so freaking awesome. So
can we count you baptized into the Mesoamerican?
I got to see the stele first.
Oh, okay.
I got to see the stele first. See, this is an advantage that the Heartlanders have on you, bro. See, you're talking all this highfalutin Mayan civilization stuff. I don't have a $1,500 plane ticket to Teotihuacan.
Vámonos.
I can take the I-15 to the Midwest and crawl around on some of those mounds and see the Zelf bones, popping out of the soil here and there.
How about if we book the Phoenician ship, go down the Mississippi and land in Mexico?
That Phoenician ship looks freaking awesome, man.
Get it right out of the museum.
Anyway, I'm making no claims, but I got to tell you guys, this is compelling evidence. This is amazing. I find this incredible. The fact that you found in the glyphs of the character's document, spear thrower owl, and that it actually coincides in the perfect time, in the perfect place, and basically with the perfect description of the kind of leader that would have wiped out the Nephite civilization. That's not coincidental, guys. And I find this very compelling. And we talked about it here first. Did Ward Radio just literally launch an archaeological exclusive for the first time?
I'm just telling you, you're the third person on the planet to know. I told Josh yesterday, and then when I picked up at the airport, and then you're the third. So
wow, I feel honored, my man. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you guys think below. Is this compelling evidence? Is Spear Thrower Owl the head of the Gadianton robbers? Do we need to make merch of Spear Thrower Owl? Like
that's a given.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a given.
I'm actually kind of torn on this, though. It's like gangster movies.
The tattoo parlor's opening when, Carden?
Yeah, exactly.
It means wealth and prosperity, bro. It's fine. You can use his name. That's what it means.
Bro, I love that you just said bro. That just made my day, Jerry.
Because you're now a brother into our group of Mesoamerican.
Okay, awesome. Just fill up the font, baby. Fill up the font, and I will go down to the water.
Stream, brethren. Free flowing stream. We need a natural body of water.
Dude, guys, if you take me to Mesoamerica to check this out at Teotihuacan, I will get baptized into the cult of the Mesoamerican Book of Mormon model, but only in a natural free flowing stream.
That's right.
That goes through the center of Teotihuacan.
Thank you.
Then I'm in.
Now I feel perfectly whole.
Okay.
And it's to make, finalize it, we can throw you off the pyramid and let you roll down the steps just like a sacrificial.
So savage. All right, guys, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget, you guys got to get Jonah Barnes' book, The Key to the Keystone. Link will be for that in the description. Josh has got a book that's super awesome too, Witnessing Miracles, Historical Evidence for the Resurrection, and the Book of Mormon. And Jerry, stretch your stuff. Your stuff's all for free online, but you got one of them over there. Show it off. Do you got it? Oh,
yeah, I do.
Yeah, there we go. Boom shakalaka. Check out his stuff, the calendars and chronology of the Book of Mormon. It's super amazing.
You can buy a hard copy off Amazon or eBay if you really want one. I've got a few.
Okay.
But it's free to download.
Awesome. Free to download. Get a hard copy on eBay. Either way, guys, for this and more, please make sure you check us out at wardradio.com.
Can't keep quiet when you start a riot.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. We assume if you made it this far that you liked our content, so please make sure you like this video and you share it with your friends. Now, in order to keep this content flowing freely, we need your help. If you're a person of means, please check us out on Venmo, the Cash App, or Zelle and consider a direct contribution to the channel. Or you could always go to wardradio.com and sign up for our newsletter there and receive all of our latest Ward Radio news articles directly to your inbox. And while you're there, maybe consider purchasing some merch. We have some really cool hats, some really cool shirts, so you can strut your stuff and support the channel that way. Or if you're a kind of person that wants to just help out with some of the equipment in the studio, we have an Amazon wish list linked in the description as well. And don't forget scripturenotes.com. You have to read your scriptures daily, and scripturenotes.com is frankly the coolest way to study your scriptures, and they're a very generous sponsor of this channel. So please consider a free trial with scripturenotes.com. The link to Scripture Notes will also be in the description of this video. Either way, whether you're pressing this little button right here to subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends, or whether you are actually hitting this button right here just to watch another video, we look forward to seeing you in the next program.